Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over how to draw arms using basic shapes, and this is a beginner friendly tutorial, so do not worry. We'll keep it simple and we'll break it down into easy steps that you can follow along at home. The tools I'll be using will just be paper, a basic pencil, sharpener, and a rubber. Basic tools. Let's start with the basic building blocks. So we're going to be using shapes like cylinders to represent arm bones, and spheres to represent shoulders and other joints. So firstly, we'll go over the muscular anatomy of it all, because I think that's the most important part, because in a lot of drawings, that's the main focus of it all, how the muscles look, how they show in lighting and in shadows and all that stuff. So I'll start off with a basic sphere shape over here, and a cylinder connecting that sphere shape just right there. This will be the upper arm right here, and I'll connect another sphere. This will be the elbow joint, and then I'll offset another cylinder here as the forearm. Okay. I won't be going over hands in this video, because that can be a separate video on its own, because hands are quite a lot more complex than simple arms. Hopefully you already know some of the basic anatomy, like the shoulder muscles go over here, the upper arm muscles, the triceps, the biceps, and the forearm as a general muscle. You don't need to know all the specific different muscles, but you need to have like a decent idea of where everything goes. So this will be the back of the arm, and this will be the front of the arm. So the biceps will go on this side and the triceps will go on this side. And then we'll draw the forearm muscles down here. With the shoulder, you just want to start off with a big circle. The triceps go on this side, so we'll just draw like a little tricep-ish shape here real quick. And the biceps actually connect a lot closer to the bone on this side, so they connect around about here, like so. For the start of the forearm muscles, we'll just draw a big sort of cone shape that connects to this cone shape right there. Now, this connection point here, where it can kind of get a little bit complex, because it goes from flat like this to sort of very skinny very fast. So how you want to do this is, first of all, you have the elbow joint over here, like so. And then you have a muscle on the side of your arm. It's called your brachioradialis, I believe. And that looks a little bit like this. Like that. Like a weird little S shape. And then connecting that from down here is another forearm muscle that is similar to the brachioradialis, but it's a bit lower down in your arm. So that goes about here. Then you have your forearm muscle on the bottom of your forearm that connects to about here. And this one's quite curvy like that. And finally on the top you have this sort of connection that goes like so. And that breaks off here into two separate muscles like this. So this will be the short head of the tricep, and then we'll just draw in the long head behind it. You don't often see it from this angle too well, because you have the short head showing more, and it's more eye-catching. And then you have this little tendon that extends from the elbow, covering most of the long head. Now, with the shoulders, the side delts that you have on the side of your shoulders, they connect like so. And then your front delt will actually connect from down here, right where the bicep starts. And it will loop all the way around to the top. Same on the other side. We'll keep it simple. In actuality, the rear delt, the back of the shoulder, is a little bit lower down than the front one. So it starts around about here. rather than here. But just to keep things simple, we'll just draw it as if we drew the front delt. Just like that. And as some of you may know, this little divot exists here as well on the shoulders. So there we have like the basic shapes and the basic musculature of an arm. That's just a little bit bent. What I'll do now is just lighten it a little bit so we can get more into detail about the shading and stuff. So I'll just darken up the original shapes. Something you want to keep in mind is how the muscles are flexing. In this pose particularly, you want to probably show the triceps off a little bit more because the arm is extended. It's straight. It's more straight than it is bent. So the triceps will be more activated over here. So you want to show that off in your drawings. Shoulders will be relatively relaxed. They don't need to be super defined because he's not lifting his arm to the side too much. Keep in mind that a lot of the forearm musculature, this stuff over here, doesn't show line by line, so you won't see all of this all the time on every reference that you have. But you just have to sort of imagine it's there and go based off of that. So now for the shading, I'll do the light source coming from this side. So with the shoulders, you want to really give off that, because these are obviously going to be muscular characters. So you really want to give off that rounded shoulder look. So you want to start the medial head over here. And you want to just do a little bit like that. And I'll just mark the areas that need shading. I'll start with that over there. And most of the rear head, if not all, will be completely covered. Similarly with the bicep, although the bicep is more of a cube shape, like this. So you can sort of color this side and then leave this side less shaded, like so. Here's a muscle that I forgot to mention, but it's kind of important. It's not often shown in too much detail purely because it connects straight with the bicep. It's just this little rounded muscle here. It's called your bicep brachii. And that can be shaded almost all the way through, like so. And then some more on the bicep. And then we'll move on to the brachioradialis. As I said before, it's not completely necessary to know the names of these muscle groups and stuff. It's just you need to be able to recall how they look like at different angles and stuff. And for that, it's great to use references such as Pinterest and stuff. The tricep will be mostly covered as well. Most of the muscles on the back side will be covered because the light's coming from this side. I'll do the long head completely black because it's really not going to show from this angle. And I just need the silhouette of it so the arm looks like an arm. There we go. Long head's a bit too dark, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Quick important thing to mention, that if you are going to copy this reference and then you're going to draw a hand onto this, it will be the upside of your hand, this side, not this side. If you draw it, I'll just do a quick little thing here for a hand and then a thumb over here. Just so if you're using it as a reference, you don't get confused. Like so. What I'll do now is do a quick time lapse of me drawing 3 different poses and angles of the arms. So I'll try to do one from the back. I've already done one from the side. I'll do one from the back, one from the front, and then I'll do like a interesting sort of punching pose with some foreshortening in it. Okay, and that is it for the time lapse. So as you can see, I drew one with the palm facing down, one with the palm facing up, and then an interesting pose where he's going in for like a punch or something. And just a final tip for improving all of your drawings, I would just say practice, practice, practice. It took me around a year to get to this point, more of consistent practice. Don't be discouraged if you can't draw something straight away. Just keep practicing, keep drawing, keep making mistakes, because when you make mistakes, your brain learns what the wrong thing is, and then it'll know not to do it next time. Make sure to use references as much as you can. I've gotten to a point where I don't need references as much, but I do still use them every now and then because they are really useful, because you can learn all the anatomy, all the different ways the arm moves. But there's just something about how it looks in real life which is really hard to imagine in your mind, and it's really useful to have an actual picture up there with you, whether that's from Pinterest, from Google. Wherever you get references from, try use them as much as possible, and then that will be the fastest way to improve your artwork. That's it for today's tutorial. I hope it helped you feel more confident and comfortable drawing arms. If you enjoyed this type of tutorial, consider subscribing, liking, and in the comments below let me know what other drawing things you want to learn in the future, and I will be sure to make videos on that. Thank you for watching.